So after being rumored for well over a year at this point, I mean, at one point they were rumored to be cancelled. Thankfully, that rumor was squashed and now we finally have a release date. So let's find out if these were worth the wait. So here we have the box. I like how the box literally represents what's inside with the sneaker. You get a regular Air Force One box, obviously all over light blue. We've got the Nike branding on the center. Of course, it says Air Force One, and you can also see in cursive and gold the Love You Forever text. Everything else is pretty standard. You got your sizing tags. However, on the reverse, you can see the little collaboration details. It says in association with Nocta. So let's pop the lid, see what we got inside. Some special paper. You do have the Nocta logo printed on it as well as the Nike one. Let's see the sneakers, guys. Let's see what these are all about. Whew. Here they are. This is the certified Loverboy Air Force One. In the box, you also get some extras, but we will talk about these later. For now, though, here they are, guys. We got the Drake forces in the building, which were probably supposed to release at the same time that he dropped his album, Certified Lover Boy. But obviously, they didn't. But like I said, we do have a release date, so let me give you all of the details on this sneaker. These are now set to drop on December the 2nd, and there will be a bunch of different raffles available, as well as, of course, a Nike sneakers release. They're going to retail for £125 here in the UK or $160 out in the US. So yes, a decent price hike compared to a regular Air Force One. However, having said that, I will say that these are better than a regular pair of Air Force Ones. It's not just the name attached to these that is hiking that price up, although that definitely is part of it. You're getting a lot more for your money with this sneaker. All I'm saying is, in terms of a collaboration, this is probably gonna end up being better value than a Supreme box logo Air Force One. Let me tell you guys the differences between the Drake certified Loverboy Air Force One and a regular white pair of forces. Now obviously, as you can tell, there's not that many differences. I mean, hey, just from afar these kind of just look identical to a regular pair of Air Force Ones, but there are some subtle details, starting with the leather. Yes, thankfully the leather feels way better, 10 times better than a regular pair of Air Forces. As you can see, it is all tumbled, much more soft, much more buttery, and in general just feels more premium. I mean, the leather quality on a regular pair of forces is not hard to beat by any standards, but I am a fan of these feeling more premium and over time will crease a lot less harshly than the regular Air Force One. I also get a leather sock liner, which is different to a regular Air Force One. That is just a mesh material. I will say that the leather sock liner doesn't make a massive difference to the feel of it on foot. Yes, you could probably slide your foot in these things a little bit easier, but walking around you won't really tell the difference. There's also very slightly different perforation holes on the toe box than a regular Air Force One. As you can see, there is smaller and larger holes, whereas on a regular Air Force One, it's all the same shaped hole. You get the same exact silver debris that you find on a regular Air Force One. This one, again, still has the same AF1 branding. But moving over to what I think is probably the biggest change up on this pair of sneakers is on the lateral side of the midsole. As you can see, it's got that Love You Forever text in cursive again. Now, what that text has replaced is obviously the Air logo, which you do find on the medial side of this pair of sneakers. And then of course you get a little bit of Nocta branding, and that is on the back tab on the left sneaker. As you can see, embroidered there in white is the Nocta logo, and then you also get the Nocta logo on the insoles of the sneaker, which are also blue. And then finally, of course, is those extras that I showed you included in the box, and these are actually pretty interesting. So starting with the extra laces, these are just all over white, nothing too special except for the aglets, which are a lot heavier and actually made of metal. Now they are super thick, fix, so they screw and unscrew to give you the ability to actually lace up the sneaker, and also give you the ability to add the second little bit of extra that you get in the box, which is these blue letter and number beads. These beads are actually pretty cool, although yes, I guess it is pretty random. You get the entire alphabet in terms of letter, and then you get numbers 0 to 9. I'm not entirely sure why the addition of these beads have anything to do with Drake or Nocta or Certified Lover Boy in general, except for the fact that maybe they're light blue. Other than that, I'm not entirely sure the correlation between these beads and Drake, but either way, I do think it's a pretty fun little addition to the sneaker. I don't know, you've got the whole alphabet to play around with, and of course the numbers that are included, so yeah, see how creative you want to get with your words. And one of the most subtle little change-ups on this pair of shoes, which if you didn't know, I don't even know if you would actually ever notice wearing these sneakers around, but if you take a look at the top of the outsole of this sneaker, you can see those little ribbed shapes are actually hearts. On a regular Air Force One, it's a little diamond shape. If you didn't know that they were there, I think it'd be very hard to kind of actually realize that that is a change-up from a regular Air Force One. Now, funny story about the hearts on this pair of shoes, I believe that they were actually the reason why these were rumored to be cancelled. They said it was due to the production being very difficult for them to create these hearts. Obviously, we know that that's not the case now, but yeah, it's pretty interesting. But apart from all that, apart from all those little subtle details that you get on this sneaker, this is pretty much a regular Air Force One. I mean, these being pretty much identical to a regular pair of Forces can be looked at in kind of two different ways. I mean, you may feel like it's not worth the extra money and you'll just stick with a regular pair of Forces, but actually it kind of makes sense that you would just keep the Air Force One as close to a regular Air Force One as possible. I mean, as much as it doesn't make sense for you to pay extra for a regular Air Force One, regular leather and everything, however you get a Supreme box logo, tens of thousands of people do. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just attach a name to it and it will bang. Air Forces are literally the most popular sneaker on the planet. I mean, they sell out on Nike and different retailers, and they even resell on the platform StockX. I mean, there's almost been a staggering 150,000 people who are willing to pay extra for a regular white Air Force One. And that's just in the last 12 months only on StockX. So yeah, I do think that this will be a very popular sneaker collaboration for Drake and Nocta and Nike. I mean, you are paying extra, but you're also getting more premium materials that feel a lot better on foot, and you're also getting, I mean, you're getting the beads and Drake's name on it. I mean, personally, I think it's worth the extra money. I would pay just for the material alone, that little bump up in price. Let's talk about sizing. I personally go a half size down on Air Force One. I don't have a particularly wide foot, so that's something to keep in mind. If you have a wider set foot, I would definitely stick true to size on these, but for me personally, I go a half size down, so that's something to consider in terms of the length of the sneaker. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of the Drake Air Forces. Is this something that you're going to be going for this December? Remember, they're dropping on the 2nd. Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one, but until then.